My name is Navi, and I'm here to talk about my motherhood journey. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go. How is motherhood? Motherhood, to me, my summary is that it is beautiful. I know other people may have different opinions, but my summary is it is beautiful. It is not easy. It has its ups and downs, but honestly, I would say it is what you make it to be. That is my opinion. Again, different people have different experiences, but for me, I would say it's been great. It's beautiful through the ups and downs, and I'm here for it all. That being said, I feel like it all starts, well, for me, it started with a mindset. I've always wanted to be a mother. I've always looked forward to be a mother. In my previously, before I got married or anything, like if you asked me, how many kids do you want to have? All my friends thought I was crazy when I said my answer. I always said, I wanted 7. This started from me having 6 siblings. We're 7 children. My mom had 7 children. I just loved how it was growing up. It was always so, joyful. Like there was never a dull moment. Like it was great. That I don't want to go too much into it, but I just had a great experience growing up having 6 other siblings. And I was like, you know what? I wonder what it would be like having my own 7 children. However, I mean, obviously I have to consider my current situation financially and all that stuff before I think of having 7 children. But if you ask me, like how many kids, even till now, I will still say 7. I mean, considering all the labor pains and everything, I don't know, maybe I'll say at least 4. But I will still love a full house as God helps us anyways. But yeah. But anyways, motherhood is great. It's wonderful. It's going okay. I'll get more into it later. So yeah. Girl, my first time as a mother, I was not ready. Well, I say that because we weren't really planning to be pregnant when I was pregnant. However, we were open to it. When we got married, we were hoping to wait for 6 months at least before we got pregnant. But honeymoon was too good. Yeah, and we got pregnant. So we got married it was May, and then I conceived in June. April, May, June. Yeah, I conceived in June. So it was, my first child was a honeymoon baby, but no regrets. We loved it. Yeah, we're open to the idea. Like, so when we talked about it, we said want to wait at least 6 months. However, if it happens kind of thing, but we're trying to be careful. But as God will have it, He had other plans. So yeah, I was not ready at my first time. However, I mean, to me, I said, I have 9 months to prepare. When, we kept our minds open to it, and we're like, let's do this, we got this. So yeah, you learn as you go. We tried not to be too hard on ourselves. We tried to, try different things. We tried to see what works for us. And then whatever worked, we just kept stuck, added it to our routine. One thing I really enjoyed doing with my first child, I'm also going to do with my second child, was every month. So when he turns a month, we will take pictures and updates. Honestly, and when I look at all the photos, through the 12 months before he turned 1, he changed so much. It's just amazing to see how kids grow. I mean, the time went by so fast. I mean, if you really ask me if you really want to know how it went, look at this. I say that because my son was 8 months when we decided to have another one, because it was going so well. I would say having a supportive partner is key. Oh my goodness. Again, it was the first time we're learning new things, and it was going well, working together, and just the joy of seeing your child grow and seeing your child, all those little giggles and the milestones, and the first time he called me mama. Oh my goodness. It has so many joyful, beautiful moments. Again, the sleepless nights and all that stuff. they make it hard too. But my best advice is you learn as you go. Keep an open mind. It's not always going to be easy, but look for what works, take it, and stick to it. The times that will be hard, they will pass. It's a phase. It's not going to last forever. And then you move on. Yeah, it doesn't last forever. So yeah, looking back now, right, I'm like, that happened, but here we are now. Next question. About the sleepless nights. Yep. Man, it's brutal. Especially if you're like me and you like your sleep. Oh my goodness, the sleepless nights, they took a toll on me. I was not looking forward to it. Or if I knew, I would have not been looking forward to it. Yeah, it's not easy losing your sleep. However, I would just advise sleep when the baby sleeps, and yeah, but it was just not easy when you know that when you're sleeping and you can't sleep, you have to feed the baby, you have to do all these things. Yeah, the sleepless nights is one. And another one is, which I'll turn into an advice. Please try not to hold your baby all the time. I know I'm doing it right now, but I try not to, but please try not to hold your baby all the time. Like, what I mean is, like, try to put them down in between so you can do other things, especially when they're awake, because so that they don't get too used to you holding them all the time, because later on you're gonna pay for it. I mean, in the first, I think 4 months, they can't suit themselves, so most of the time you have to pick them up and whatnot. But when you can, try to put them down in the swing, in their crib, their bassinet or whatever. Put them down so they don't get too used to you holding them, because it's gonna be hard, especially later on when you have to sleep train them. But yeah, look more into it. You can do your own research, but I would say try not to hold your baby too much. Yeah. Man, it's not easy. It's not easy having two under two. But again, I knew it wasn't going to be easy. That one, I made sure to ask other friends of mine who had two under two, and they always told me it wasn't easy, and they told me ways to cope with it. So I was kind of ready for it. But I'm telling you about my experience having two under two, because I currently have a 17-month-old and a 6-week-old. Two under two it definitely has its challenges. However, the first time I came from the hospital, my son fell in love with his sister right away. Like, he gave her a kiss and all that stuff. But yeah, but sometimes I feel like he thinks she's a toy, because he would just come and want to like hit her or something. But then when you kind of like, redirect him or tell him like, no, she's a baby and all that stuff, he tries to stop, but he gives her kisses all the time and everything. It's so cute. From my perspective, it gets really busy with the two babies. But what we try to do is, because my son goes to daycare, so my husband takes him to daycare in the mornings, and then I'm left with so it's just me and baby here. So that kind of gives me time to be able to take care of her. And then when he comes back from daycare, my husband is here to help out, so we're able to give him attention while we're also taking care of her as well. We also have our bedtime routines and all that stuff that I can talk about later. But yeah, it's not easy, but we try to work our way through it. We try to figure out what works and we stick to it. My breastfeeding experience. Man, the first time that I had to breastfeed, like my first child, oh my goodness. That first, when they suction, that first suction from the baby, man, that pain, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like it's painful, but it's like, that tight suction plus it's like, in Nigeria I would say peppery, but it was like a peppery suction kind of pain. It was not fun. But it got better like after a week or two. I can't remember now. I can't even remember with her. With her, it's kind of was a different story, because her suction, she had a tongue tie, and I feel like that affects her suction. And so yeah, it lasted longer. I had like broken nipples and all that stuff. That's story for another day. But that first initial pain, It's not fun, but it doesn't last. I'll add that. But yeah, I do enjoy breastfeeding though. It gives me such a deep connection with my babies. Besides all the wonderful benefits it has, in fact, I'll mention them, a few that, I mean, I don't mind. Like giving the babies natural antibodies. It also helps with reduce the risk of cancer, I think breast cancer, and it also helps like losing the pre-pregnancy weight after pregnancy, if that makes sense. It has a good variety of benefits. I'm not shading formula feeding at all. Like, I'm just saying, like, I prefer breastfeeding. And just to add something, with my first child, I noticed that when I stopped breastfeeding him, man, he got sick, almost like immediately when I was gradually weaning him off the breastfeeding. He got sick, like so sick, and I was like, I guess, the summary of what I'm trying to say. Like, because when he was breastfeeding, he wasn't that sick, and then when he was gradually stopping his breastfeeding, he got really sick. Come on, what do you tell about that? But I prefer breastfeeding. It's been great. Again, besides it affecting my sleep, that I have to wake up at 9 to feed her, because she feeds this girl feeds like every 30 minutes. Oh my goodness, 30 minutes to 2 hours. My son's schedule was a bit better. My first child was a bit better. He was like consistently every 2 hours kind of thing, but she's just kind of all over the place, which affects my sleep a lot at night. That's the part of breastfeeding I don't enjoy, because I'm her food, having to wake up at night to feed and constantly. However, though, there's a good side to it, because I remember when I had to give formula and food to my son, constantly having to prepare the food before you go out, always making sure it's there, that additional thought, oh, let's get the food ready, or let's make sure it has food when we're going out and all that stuff. With breastfeeding, I didn't have to think about that, because I'm pretty much her food. So anytime she needs to feed, I just click, put her on there, and she's feeding. But that's one thing I like about it. It's pretty convenient that way. But yeah, my breastfeeding experience has been all right. So whenever I sleep like I've been saying. She wakes up at very random times. Whenever she wakes up, I feed her. She doesn't have a consistent how they say baby is feeding every 2 hours or something, but no, she's different. She could be for anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how she feels, right? So I know they usually advise do like 10 to 20 minutes on one side, and then the other side, right? But this girl she has a mind of her own. Yeah, she's a human being, a little human. So she sometimes does like 5 minutes on one side and she's done. No matter how hard you try to get her to keep going, when this girl's done, she done. Why am I forcing her to do anything? I ain't gonna force her. So I just let her, and then she just falls asleep. And then, she snacks. I think that's what I'll call it. She just snacks here and there. And so that's what makes her feed more often. But so yeah, that kind of affects my sleeping schedule. I wake up whenever she wants to feed. I feed her and I put her down. I do try, to get her to feed more, but what can I do? It is what it is. So yeah, because of that, I sleep when she's sleeping. I'm awake when she's awake, and I'm walking around the house. When she sleeps, I go to sleep. Not all the time, though. Sometimes I do get a good night's sleep. Yeah, like I feel like I don't feel tired, so I don't have to sleep when she's sleeping. But if I do feel tired when she's sleeping, I go to sleep. Yeah, that's pretty much my schedule. Postpartum depression. That stuff is real, right? But honestly, I've never really experienced it, thankfully. Maybe to a tiny extent when I feel overwhelmed to a level, but I always try to calm myself back and encourage myself that it's only a phase. I do a lot of mind encouragement. I do a lot of self-encouragement, and I feel like that's one thing that helps me. I would also give credit to having a lot of support around me. Again, having a supportive partner is definitely key. Not just a supportive partner, but other family and friends. My in-laws are retired and they're such a great help to us. My mom's, when she gets the time, she comes around and she helps us. My grandma was here when I gave birth to my baby here, so she was a great help, especially with cooking. My sister came, she was here for a bit, she helped me take care of my son while, so I can focus on her and then give my husband a break. So I've always had a lot of support with her. With my first child it was mostly my mom. My mom was here, she helped us a lot, and my in-laws, they helped us a lot. I would definitely give credit to having a lot of support. So I think that's kind of helped me escape postpartum depression, thankfully, thank God. But yeah, it is definitely real, and I don't wish it on anyone, but I try to also go through my emotions too. Even though I say I never had postpartum depression, but I notice when I'm overwhelmed, when I'm sad, and I try to communicate to my husband, communicate it with my family and friends. I try to be self-aware and catch myself and not let myself go deep into certain emotions, but to feel it, go through it, and let it pass. Let it pass. I always tell myself this too shall pass. It's gonna pass. It's not gonna last forever. And yeah, those things that I've mentioned definitely help me navigate my emotions through these times. Household care. I try as much as possible not to be too hard on myself. My husband as well. Sometimes the house is chaotic. There are toys everywhere, there are dishes everywhere, the bed is not made, and this one. But we set priorities. What is most important? Sometimes the priority at that point is giving my son attention. I would rather give my son attention than tidy up the place. I would, give my son attention, play with him. I have to breastfeed this girl. We have to eat. We can figure out washing the dishes later. Maybe sometimes what we do, or what we've been trying to do lately at least, we've been trying to, when my son comes back from daycare, give him as much attention, no TV on. Even though the house is a mess, we can always do that after we put him to bed. And then we figure out cleaning the house, doing the dishes and whatnot. So most times my time for cleaning the house and doing the dishes is at night after my son has gone to bed. And it works out that way, because then me and my husband can tag team, we can do it together, because we also live in a tiny apartment again. So we get my daughter's bassinet out of the room while my son is sleeping in there, and then we'll put her in the bassinet while we're out here cleaning. And then when we're done cleaning, when she's sleeping, we have time for ourselves, and then when it's bedtime, we go to bed. But yeah, so I do try to clean the house here and there when I can. Like now that my son is in daycare, I would, tidy up the house. So pretty much whenever I find the time, I do things. But we try to ask ourselves, what is our priority? We'll focus on that first, and then we'll focus on the other things later. The house will get clean eventually. So yeah, that's how we do it. So I hope I have said enough. If you have any more questions, any other things you would like me to discuss relating to my situation, you can always drop the questions in the comments, and I would try to do a video or answer you right there in the comments. But yeah, that's it for now, and I hope you enjoyed this little sesh. And yeah, maybe I'll do this again, but we'll see. But that's all for now, folks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, my name is Navi, and I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, wherever you're at. I hope that you're doing well. But anyways, take care and bye for now.